some action last night for sure. Let's take a look at some select scores from action last night. Last night, Beech Grove topped Rushville 67-54. Greenfield Central over Franklin County 50-45. It was South Ripley over South Dearborn 56-46. Hauser over Jacksonville 81-52. It was Jennings County topping Columbus East 62-49. Shelbyville over New Pal 92-79. Indian Creek beat Indianapolis Heron 66-45. Last night took a couple overtimes. South Decatur defeated Waldron 110-107. What? We'll be talking about that one here in a little bit also. So, double overtime win for South Decatur.
What?
Yeah. Well, let's take a look here. First up this morning, we've got Kyle Nobby from the North Decatur Chargers, also in double overtime action last week. Maybe not the same result, but what a good basketball game.
Well, it was. I guess. I guess
you don't
it
sound
was.
Enthusiastic.
No, I'm not overly enthusiastic when you come up on the short end of it, but did a lot of good things at different points throughout the game. Things that we are continuing to get better with, but still, it's a little snake bit on some of the other things that we have a short amount of time now to try to get squared away and get better at, and I think our kids are starting to do that. Just has to be a little bit more consistent.
So this was Milan. It was back on Tuesday. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was. Typically we play Milan the first Saturday after Thanksgiving, but with their success in football this year, it got bumped all the way back till Tuesday. So gave us an opportunity to play a weeknight game again. Which at the time isn't always fun, but it's what's going to simulate possibly what a sectional is going to be. So, it's one of those things. It's on the road. Milan's getting better. They've kind of been up and down. You look at their schedule. They've got some really good wins on the season, and I thought it would be a great test for our kids. And I thought our kids responded, and as I mentioned, did a lot of good things. But just came up a little short at the end of the game.
All right, so it took after 4 quarters, nothing decided, huh?
No, and we had a lead. Actually, we were up 11 going into the fourth quarter, and to Milan's credit, they were able to get to the foul line a few times, hit some perimeter jumpers, which really hurt because they hadn't been shooting the ball very well. Tuesday night, but they hit some key threes when they needed it. And we had some bad turnovers. They came out and started trapping us in the half court and obviously full court pressing us. And, the times that we did a great job with it, we shot layups and other than that, we turned it over. So it's something that our kids have learned from. We've got some young kids and young spots. Alex Stern, is a freshman for us, been playing JV. He, played the third and fourth quarter in both overtimes after playing 3 quarters in the JV. So he's been put in some tough positions, and he's done a great job responding. But just a few turnovers from our guard play, and it led to easy scores for them. And unfortunately, we had a chance to win it at the end and didn't get it done. And then Milan had a chance to make a play, and Evan Smith did a great job and stepped over and got a charge call with about 4 seconds to go in regulation to keep the score tied. So a lot of good plays, a lot of negative plays, but a lot of things that we can take from the game that'll make us better.
So you extended into an extra 2 overtimes, extra 8 minutes. Mm-hmm. Did you have foul outs you had to contend with?
Garrett Metz was the one kid that fouled out, and that really hurts us because Garrett's a scorer for us, and he's been scoring consistently for us all season. But we had other kids that stepped up. Cameron Adams had a great game. Again, I think he ended up with 20. And then last Thursday against Franklin County, he had 18. So he's starting to play a lot better, a lot more consistent. And he does a lot of bright things for us, and he's going to continue to help us just being a young sophomore. But Garrett was really the only one, and I think some of the other thing is when you play essentially a 40-minute game, and you only shoot 9 free throws, you got to do a better job of getting to the foul line. I didn't think that we were settling. We were getting in the paint and getting to the rim. We just didn't convert well enough, didn't draw enough contact to be able to get to the line consistently. So I think that hurt us a little bit too.
Well, let's relive the pain here. The final 30 seconds of the ball game. Tell us what happened there.
Well, score was tied with about a minute to go, and Milan had the ball, and our kids did a great job, providing pressure. And I mentioned him before. Alex had a great deflection, which led to a steal. So, it wasn't necessarily a steal where we had a transition opportunity. So we were able to come down in the half court and with, maybe 50 seconds left and ran the clock down and came up with the set play, and our kids did a great job of executing. They were in man at the time, and we talked about, they have a tendency to go to a trap late like this, and if they do, this is how we're going to attack it. And Alex made a great read, and Dylan Merritt made a great cut, and he was able to lay it in with about 6 seconds to go, and
you're up two.
And we're up two, and Milan throws it in and tries to race up the floor, and kid pulls up a half court and knocks it in at the buzzer. So those are things that you hopefully learn from, but pretty hard to swallow for the kids. They played awfully hard Tuesday night, and we've been really close a lot of times this year, and it's a matter of finding ways to win the game instead of trying not to lose the game or hoping the other team makes a mistake so we kind of fall into a win. Our kids just got to understand we got to continue to compete, and I think if they do that, we're going to be able to see some positives come from all these close games that we've been in.
Well, you had your fourth quarter lead. If you're up 8-10 points and 3-4 minutes left, do you like to keep doing what got you there, or do you change your offensive strategy when you've got the ball?
We like to keep doing what has gotten us there. Obviously, we're going to stress to them what kind of shots we want at that point. But a lot of teams, do a great job of being able to pull the ball out and hold it. A lot of teams struggle doing that, and you just want to try to continue to stay in the flow of the game. Because my philosophy is once you do that and you make a mistake or have a turnover, then all of a sudden the other team may get back into the game that way, and then you're going to have to try to find some rhythm where you may have been on your heels trying to milk the clock a little bit. So I think it's a fine line, but you hopefully can trust the kids that they're going to make great decisions and not shoot a one-pass three or something in that situation. But that's kind of what my philosophy is on it.
It's always easier if you have good, solid guard play. Speaking of which, last week you couldn't be here. You sent in Joe Gauk.
Yeah.
I remember him when he played. I remember he was a one-man press breaker. You couldn't trap him. He was a very clever ball handler. And what a guy to have at the point.
Oh, yeah, he was a tremendous player for us, a great leader. Does a great job with our freshman kids. Very lucky to have him involved in our program. Does a great job. And you're right. Joe was a kid as a sophomore that, he made sophomore mistakes. And I would get on him about some of those things, but always, try to tell these kids when they're young like that, and even when they're, they're older, if we didn't trust that you could do it or believe that you could do it, well, you wouldn't be in there. And excuse me, Joe did a great job with handling the basketball and, being left-handed, obviously was a little bit of an advantage, but just smart kid out on the floor, and that translates into, what he's done in his life up to this point. A smart, hardworking, really good kid, and as I mentioned, tickled to death to have him in our program.
Yeah, you've been coaching for quite some time. You've had teams, just like all coaches, have had teams with good guard play, and maybe Stevens is not quite as strong there, but boy, that makes all the difference in the world.
Oh yeah, people always say, "Oh, we wish we had a 6'8" kid inside that can just kind of dominate the game." We all would love to do that, but I think a lot of times guards win and lose games for you because they dominate the ball a lot of the time. So our guards are young, but they're getting better, and we're excited about tonight. We're excited about the rest of the season with these young kids, and especially the future with them.
Tonight you're at home.
Yep.
against a Knightstown opponent who's struggled to pick up wins this year, but you can't take them lightly.
Absolutely not. They have nothing to lose, and hopefully our kids come into the game understanding that it's just a game. We have nothing to lose. They've prepared well. I told the kids last night after practice, I thought we've had two really good practices, which was a great sign after getting beat the way we got beat on Tuesday night. We took Wednesday off. I thought it was appropriate for them to get a little bit of rest, get away a little bit, and I think our kids responded with two really good practices, and hopefully that translates into tonight in a win. But Knightstown, you look at some of their scores and they're lopsided, and you look at other games and they're very competitive. I know the other night they played Greenfield to a 5-point game, and Greenfield's got a nice team this year. So I think it's going to be important that we worry about us and what we're doing, and if we do those things, I think we could have a great night for North Decatur.
Hopefully your Chargers come in with a little chip on their shoulder after taking that tough one on Tuesday.
Yeah, and I think they will, and I think that showed with as I mentioned, with our practices this week. I think that they know how close they are, and they know what kind of opportunities they have coming up at the end of February in sectional. So still got a lot of games, obviously, before then, but I know our kids are I'm proud of the way that they're still battling and still trying to get better. So, hopefully tonight is a culmination of some of those tight games, and we can come out on top with a win. As I mentioned, it's going to be a big night for our program and our schools and our alumni night. So hopefully we have a great turnout with our alumni guys from basketball. It's our youth basketball recognition night as well. So should be a great crowd, great atmosphere, and I know our kids have been chomping at the bit since Tuesday to try to get that taste out of their mouth from the way we lost that game.
So after tonight's basketball game, 2 weeks left, 3 games to play in 2 weeks, and then we go into sectional play. Time to just tighten up things and tune up.
It is. Unfortunately, we haven't been good enough to put ourselves in the position to win our conference. But, 2 big games next weekend, both on the road at Southwestern, who is our outright winner of our conference. And, we got an opportunity to compete and beat a really good team on the road. And then, we turn around the next night and have to play at South, and it'll be another great atmosphere, another great game with the Cougars, and we finish up at home with Rushville. So nothing's easy, these next 4 games. It is time to start working on things and fine-tuning things, and, there's always time to get better, and that's what we try to stress to our kids.
So no more football picks.
No.
Football's over, Coach. Did the Super Bowl go to your liking, or what do you have to say?
Absolutely not.
That was a tough one to take also, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So, I don't know, I guess if you have to ask the question, did New England win it or Atlanta lose it? Its answer is yes and yes. Huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, Coach, we always appreciate your being here. You'll be at action tonight at home. Knightstown JV will tip off about 6, varsity approximately 7:30. So final words before we send you on your way.
As I mentioned, I just want to reiterate that, tonight's our alumni night, and, we've tried as best as we could to get the word out. It was supposed to be earlier in the year, and that's when we had some really bad weather. So we decided to postpone it that night just because we didn't know if the game was going to stay on or not. And fortunately it did. But hopefully we have a great turnout for that tonight. Looking forward to seeing a lot of former players for myself and kids that that played for myself and Mr. Cook when I was his assistant. So look for it to be a great atmosphere. So hope to see everybody out tonight.
All right, Coach, good luck tonight against Knightstown.
Great, thank you.
Kyle Nobby, he's the head coach of the North Decatur Chargers. We're broadcasting live from Aspen Place Health Campus. Cornerstone Bakery is the official donut of the Coaches Show. We'll step away for a couple minutes, and when we come back, we'll have Coach Brian Dixon from South Decatur explain how he scored 110 points last night. We'll be back right after this.
This is Paula Sibbett of Tom Sibbett Chevrolet Buick. We would like to invite you to come to our dealership in Greensburg, meet our courteous employees, and get acquainted with our sales and service departments. We are happy and willing to serve you with all your service needs or help you with the purchase of a new or pre-owned vehicle. Tom Sibbett has been in this area for over 50 years, and we believe in giving our customers honest, courteous, and reliable service. Come visit us in Greensburg at 950 North Michigan Avenue, just off Highway 3 bypass. Tom Sibbett Chevrolet Buick will be there for you.
This is Michelle Gauk with Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, and we are a proud supporter of all our student athletes. We know that being a student athlete takes hard work and dedication to stay on top of your game. It takes that same hard work and dedication to provide great customer service. At Batesville Chrysler, we've been putting families into reliable cars since 1984. And when it comes to buying a dependable car, who you buy from really does matter. So visit us at Batesville Chrysler. We'll be there for you before and after the sale. We work hard every day to prove that you can buy a car anywhere, but at Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, service is the difference.
When it comes time for car repairs, it can be a nervous time, unless you're made of money. A good reason for visiting Helms Auto Sales and Repair. Scott Helms is ASE certified and will give you an estimate before they even start. And if the diagnosis changes, they'll give you a call before proceeding. And if it's time for a new vehicle, Helms keeps a stock of preferred used cars on the lot. Helms Auto Sales and Repair, folks you can trust at 302 West Main, phone 222-AUTO.
Enjoy dinner at the Fireside Inn in Enochsburg, serving their famous fried chicken and shrimp each evening. Specials are Tuesday, tacos and taco soup. All-you-can-eat catfish on Wednesday. Thursday, it's hot wings, barbecued wings, battered wings, livers, and gizzards. Friday evening features cod and bassa catfish dinners. Prefer a sandwich? They have a great selection. Salad bar is available Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings. Hours at the Fireside Inn are Tuesday through Saturday, 5 to 10 p.m. For reservations, call 934-4174.
Hi, this is Cheryl Johnson, Community Liaison for Morning Breeze Health and Retirement Community. Morning Breeze is a CMS 5-star health campus offering 3 levels of care. Our villas offer independent living in our beautiful 2-bedroom, 2-bath, maintenance-free condo-style living. We offer large studio-style assisted living units inside our health campus. Morning Breeze is a top-rated skilled nursing facility with an outstanding therapy department offering short and long-term rehab.
And we return here with you from the Coaches Show from Aspen Place Health Campus. Also have Tom Fleming running the Periscope here today. Going to watch Picture Radio. And he was also at the basketball game last night at South Decatur. We'll have to ask him a little bit about what went on last night. Hey, girls regionals start here today in the Charlestown regional in the 3A. Rushville will go up against North Harrison in the first round, and they'll play the winner. Winner of that game will play the winner between Evansville Memorial and Vincennes Lincoln tonight. Bedford North Lawrence regional is where Columbus North will play. They'll match up against Evansville Central in the first round. In the Speedway 2A regional for the ladies, Eastern Hancock in action against South Putnam in the first round. And in single A action, this one's at Southwestern in Shelby County. Jacksonville will go up against Bloomfield in the first round, and the winner of that ball game will play the winner between Indianapolis Tindley and Indianapolis Lutheran tonight. So good luck to all those ladies in regional action. Last night in boys action, let's give you at least the one score. Last night this was a home for South Decatur. They win, took 2 overtimes to get the job done, but they win last night 110 to 107. And Coach Brian Dixon is going to tell us here how that happened and how his defense held steady. And you're going to tell me your defense won the basketball game, and I'm looking at you real skeptical here, Coach. But you did have some defensive plays at the end, but hey, this was all offense.
Yeah, basically. It was just one of those things. We were fortunate to get a lot of bounces go our way. We were very fortunate to get some shots go our way in very key times and get some steals in very, very key times that really, really helped us tremendously throughout the whole game. We were down 16 at one point in the third quarter, and I had 2 starters have 4 fouls, and one of them was my best. Both of them were my best defensive players at the time. And we did a little switch. We decided to put Matt Cornett on Brenham, and that helped us big time when we did that switch. Matt stepped up and play tremendous defense. And,
Hey, you held Brendan to how many points last night? What was that?
Yeah, it's only 59,
59,
but
all
he
right.
only shot 31 free throws in the fourth quarter in double overtime. So,
Okay.
But, good players go get the ball, and we were double, triple teaming him, and he still somehow got the ball. But those things happen. So fortunately for us, we came out on the positive end, but man, what a game.
Yeah, it's just like, what the?
It's like, what do you say? You just try your best. Towards that second overtime, as much as I was screaming, I could start, feeling my voice start to give out. And I'm like, oh no, please don't do this. But it's just fortunate that I was looking at the scoreboard in the third quarter. I'm like, we're down 16. And I'm here, all right, here we go. Well, then we get a steal, and then we get a block, and then all of a sudden I look, and it's like, okay, we're down 5, and it's still the third quarter. And I'm like, what? Okay. And then all of a sudden I look up at the scoreboard, and there's 4.5 minutes left. We're down 2 in the fourth quarter. I'm like, where is this coming from? And then all of a sudden it starts going back and forth. And we are down 2 with 1.3 seconds left, and we get fouled. And we have Jacob Watts at the free throw line, misses the first one. And I'm listening to Matt Cornett screaming, miss the second one. And so he ends up missing the second one. And the ball happens to hit a Waldron kid. Yes, hits a Waldron kid and goes out of bounds. Well, the buzzer goes off because they thought the time was over. And I'm like, there's no way. Because when they blew the whistle, you could, their time was still on. So they go back and put 0.3 seconds on the clock.
Well, that gives you a lot to work with.
Yeah, so you're thinking to yourself, what can you do in 0.3 seconds? I said, okay, I can throw it to one of 2 players.
And this is the end of regulation.
This is the end of regulation. Throw it to 1 or 2 players. And, when they were discussing how much time was left, I pulled the kids together. I used it as a timeout. And we just simply said, hey, listen, you got to get a huddle around the basket as quickly as you can. Throw it up to Nathan or Matt and just hope it goes in. Well, that fortunately worked out for us, which, doesn't happen every time. Jacob Watts grabbed the ball, threw it perfectly right towards the rim. You see number 31, Matt Cornett's arms just outreach everybody. Grabs it, hits the back of the rim, and it seemed like that ball just hung in the air forever. Hit the side of the rim and rolls in, and the crowd just goes crazy. It went nuts. So that put us into overtime.
Yeah.
And then first overtime was just a battle.
I was going to say, what did you settle in that first overtime?
I don't even remember what the score was, honestly. It was like 103 to 103, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
But, it was up and down. Waldron came out and scored real quick. Brenham went to the free throw line, it seemed like every 20 seconds in the overtime. That's where they got almost all of their points in both overtimes.
And until the very end of the game, he was pretty solid there,
Yes,
right?
he was.
Yeah.
Towards it, you could tell he was starting to get tired. As you could tell his legs. Yeah. We're getting a little tired. He missed 2 in the end of the second overtime. That really, really helped us. But, we did some things in the second overtime really, really well defensively. We had an opportunity to go up 1 off of a steal that we had. And, Matt went up to the free throw line and made 2 free throws to put us up 1. Well, they took the ball out. They had about 16.3 seconds left. All of a sudden, you see Nathan Binge just streak across the floor, gets a steal, throws it to Matt Cornett. Granted, we're up, and it's 10 seconds left. And I'm screaming, bring it out, bring it. Matt Cornett shoots a wide-open layup. I'm like, okay, and it goes in. So that put us up 3. And in that kind of situation, it's like, okay, as a coach, do you foul? And I told the kids to foul, foul number 24, but we decided not to. I said, give them a layup if it goes in. If the 3 goes in, that's fine, but don't let Brenham touch the ball. And somehow he got it after like 2 passes and chucked one from half court. And I was like, if that goes in, that's just the way the game's going to be. And fortunately, we came out on the good end right there and won the marathon by 3 points.
Yeah. Well, I do know it must have been in the second overtime, about 1:20 left, roughly. You're down 5 points.
Yes.
You have 3 starters fouled out. I'm thinking things aren't looking very good at that
I
point.
thought the same thing. But then as the game was going on, we called a timeout at that point in time, drew up a play on the board, and they ran it to perfection. Will Smiley set an amazing screen down low because we tried to snake Matt through on a 3, who he has barely hit any all year, but in PE class every day he makes them all the time. Him and I shoot all the time in PE, and he makes them constantly. So I knew he'd still have the confidence within himself. But it was supposed to be for Nathan to shoot a 3. But anyway, Matt was second option. Comes down, hits a 3. Then we get a steal and score on another layup. to tie the game with like 20-some seconds left. So, the guts of the kids just to play, especially our bench players. Jacob Watts, Will Smiley, Kyle Johanneman, Brandon Binge, all stepped up huge for us in that time. And that's what we needed. We really needed that confidence level, especially getting ready for sectional.
Yeah, well, 3 starters out, they had to step up.
And I'm happy the way they did. And
Yeah.
you know what? Will had 2 points, and that 2-point shot that he made it tied us in that first overtime. And that was the slowest layup off the backboard I've ever seen in my life. Tom knows what I'm talking about. It seemed like it just slowly spun around the rim and went in. But if you get a chance, you guys need to watch the craziness of that game. It just the way things happen is like really, it was back and forth, absolute battle.
Yeah, wow. What a great basketball game, and you win in double overtime, 110-107. After the ball game, how many people went to the ticket office and wanted their money back for lack of action?
Yeah.
Anybody?
And they had free games, so
Yeah.
This is free money is what they call it. So it was intense. I was so worried. A lot of people were saying, because my wife's about 30 weeks pregnant, and she saw me and said, "You're lucky I didn't have this baby," because she was getting so nervous.
Yeah.
With those things. So it was good. It's good for our kids. It's good for our program. That win puts us right at 500. It's been a long time since that's happened. I don't know if these kids have ever had a winning season, this group of kids.
Yeah.
They may have when they played youth basketball, but still, for our kids to be where they're at and be able to come back from down 16, even though it took 2 overtimes, still, to come back from 16 against a team that shoots lights out was really, really positive for our program and for our kids.
And it was a conference win, and you needed one.
Yes, we did. We were 0 in the conference. We
Yeah.
played, Southwestern terribly in the first half and then came back. Hauser was just a game that nothing was kind of really falling for us. And then Morristown, it was, again, a battle with we just ran out of gas towards the end. But, those things happen. We played the 3, top tier, and Waldron's just as good. Waldron beat Morristown and Southwestern. So, like I said, you just never know. And for Southwestern to win the conference, they weren't even predicted to win it. Morristown was supposed to, win the whole thing. But, hey, you never know. When you play a game, you never know. They're high school kids. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, even in this basketball game against Waldron, after the first quarter, you're down, I think, 24-17. Also, you had your game on Tuesday night against Crothersville. You were 4 points down after the first quarter. Not known for your fast starts, Coach.
No.
Yeah.
But as long as the end result works out, I guess,
Yeah.
we'll take it. And it used to be the other way. We used to come out on fire at the start of the season, it's the first couple quarters. And then we play a great first quarter, horrible second quarter. And then all of a sudden, third and fourth quarter, we decided to come back. But when it comes sectional time, you can't do that. We gotta, play a whole game consistently. But you know what? I'll take it. I'll take a game and a half if you want to call it a double overtime win.
Yeah.
So those things age you. Even though I don't have much hair on top of my head, I definitely pulled some out last night. That's for sure.
I guess it's good you don't have don't have to play tonight.
Yeah.
That'd be one of those hard games to reset and play all again the next night.
Especially emotionally. Because those kids were absolutely wore out. I know you could just see it all over their face. Matt Cornett did not come off the floor last night. I didn't even sub for him. So he played, 48 minutes or whatever it was. 40 minutes, double overtime. So, good for him. I couldn't do it. There's no way. But he doesn't want to come off. He's an absolute competitor, and just the way he played. I don't think Nathan came out either. I think those two played the whole game. So, it's just good to see. Those things happen.
It used to be you go to Edinburgh and they'd had all these, were they Burtons? They'd have 6 or 7 Burtons on the team. Was that right? And
I think so.
I remember going there with this years ago, and they had 4 on varsity and 3 on JV. And they didn't even come on. Anyway, it's getting that way with South Decatur and the Binges.
Yeah,
Right? You have 3 Binges.
Yeah, we have 3. There was an older one that played, before them. So played for Coach Black, and our freshman coach Kelly Agnew knows them. But Brandon's the last one. Then we'll hopefully find some more because I know they have a set of nieces that are twins. So it just kind of just runs through the family. It's they like to have twins. I guess they say it's super hereditary to have twins. So but they're really, really good kids, really good family. Very hard-working kids. They really, really want it, and it's really nice to have them on our team.
Yeah. Well, Tuesday, to back up, almost an afterthought now, you were at home against Crothersville. First half, you were down 4 after a quarter, up 4 at halftime. Third quarter's where you really put it away.
Yeah, third quarter, again, we decided to step up and play defense, and we smothered them like crazy. We got up, I think, one time at 22 points.
26 points.
Was it 26?
Yep.
Okay. So, we really put the defensive effort in, and we're getting layups. That's always nice when you get layups, that sort of way. And then fourth quarter, I played my subs for 5 minutes in that fourth quarter.
Right.
So our subs didn't play very well in that fourth quarter. We were missing one. He was out. Kyle Johanneman was out with the flu that game. But still, a win's a win. We'll take it. They took advantage a little bit. They scored 32 points in the fourth quarter, Crothersville did, on layups. And that really got underneath my skin for defensively. But they came right back, super resilient last night, and I guess they got a big victory for us.
In your Crothersville game, like you said, Kyle Johanneman was out, but Jacob Watts was your leading scorer with 19. Had he led in the game?
No,
this year? 19 points.
And he hasn't even played that
year.
much. The last 2 games has been his most minutes all year.
Yeah.
But he knocked down some big threes for us, took the ball to the basket, hit some big free throws. And again, he was in a crucial situation last night and got absolutely drilled. And he was rubbing his shoulder, trying to loosen his shoulder up because he got absolutely drilled, trying to shoot those free throws to tie it. But those things happen. He came through and stepped up. He stepped up really, really well for us because we're going to need him next year. And he's just a junior, so we'll definitely need him next year to be able to play.
All right. So you're idle tonight. You earned that after a couple home wins this week. Your final 3 games in these final 2 weeks. Next week, Friday, Saturday, Edinburgh, North Decatur, both at home.
Mm-hmm. And both conference, so that's going to be good.
And then you'll finish up against Knightstown in the final regular season game right there. So 3 more to go, Coach.
Yeah, that's hard to believe. We were talking about that the other day. It's like you look at the January schedule and you play a lot of back-to-back games, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, it's February. Here it is. And we just added the Crothersville game just to get ready for a sectional game. We needed a weekday game. We only played 1 up until that point. 2, up until that point. And I told, Willard last year, we need to add a second game or third game during the week closer to sectional to get ready for that.
Yeah.
And that was a good Tuesday game to play. It's not a bad trip for either team. It's about 45 minutes, so it's not bad because you got a lot of cut-through roads and highways now. So we scheduled that game because they wanted to play us. So they said that was a good Tuesday game for us. All
right, Super Bowl. What's your thoughts? What happened? What happened there?
Somebody had to pay somebody. That's all I can say.
That was a remarkable ball game.
I mean, I'm happy for Tom Brady just because of what he's dealing with, with his mom, going through battling cancer and really, really struggling. But I don't know how you let that many points give up just that quickly. It's especially in the Super Bowl and the way you're playing offensively. But oh, well, it's over now. As long as they don't get 6, I'll be okay.
There you go. Well, Coach, a great win last night. That'll be one that, these guys that played in the ballgame won that last night. They'll be 60, 70, 80 years old in the rocking chairs and walking on walkers and talking about that game they had last night. That'll last for a long time.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one that you'll always talk about, that's for sure.
Final thoughts, Coach?
I just thanks for everybody that watched. We know Tom and I were talking. There were 660 people that watched on Periscope, last night, and I'm sure there's been more since then. But just thanks for everybody that's coming out and supporting. We had a really good fundraiser. We did American Heart Association last night, as a fundraiser, and they said that turned out really well. But again, just thanks everybody, and I said we got 3 more. We're gonna have a lot of big things happening next Saturday against North. We have some recognitions and those sort of things that we're going to do for our 7th graders and recognize our all-state football player, Damon Allen, which was really, really nice to see. So we still have some things going on, and I just want to let everybody know we don't forget we host sectional, so we really want to see you out there. We really like to pack the stands with some maroon and white. It'd be great.
All right. That's Brian Dixon. He's the head coach of the South Decatur Cougars, coming off a double overtime win last night, 110-107 over Waldron. He's got a couple games next week, Friday, Saturday, home games, Edinburgh, North Decatur. Coach, thanks for coming in. Good luck next week.
Thanks. We appreciate it.
All right. We're at Aspen Place. It's the home of the Coaches Show. Cornerstone Bakery is the official donut of the Coaches Show. We'll leave you for a couple minutes. We'll return right after this.
play of the day is at Buy Right Auto, Greensburg's used vehicle superstore. Come in now and score big with a great deal. With over 600 vehicles available, we have the car, van, SUV, or truck to fit your needs. That's why we're the used vehicle superstore. And if we don't have the right one for you, let our buyers go for the assist in finding the right one. Be the MVP and score big now with a vehicle from Buy Right Auto, Greensburg's used vehicle superstore. 920 North Michigan Avenue, or call us at 812-662-9922. Be the MVP and score a vehicle now.
Decatur County Memorial Hospital is growing to better serve you. DCMH is now offering a sports medicine program to all community members. This program includes orthopedic surgery from our new physician, Dr. Yulo, rehab services, athletic trainers, sports physicals, and emergency medical services. Let us help you succeed with our new sports medicine program at DCMH. To reach Dr. Yulo's office, call 812-663-7790, or for our rehab department, call 812-663-1119.
At Hilliard Lyons, we're conservators of your wealth, not the status quo. We're not interested in how everyone else does things. We're independent thinkers. You see, every client is different, so we treat each one as a new challenge. After nearly 160 years of wealth management experience, we've learned a few things, one of which is no two clients' goals and needs are the same. In our more than a century and a half of providing investment advice, we've come across nearly every financial situation possible. Creative thinking and a real understanding of our clients' needs and their concerns is what sets Hilliard Lyons apart from the rest. If this sounds like the kind of financial partner you'd like, call us in Greensburg at 812-663-2862.
Hilliard Lyons, investment insights for every generation since 1854. JJB Hilliard WL Lyons LLC, member NYSE, FINRA, and SIPC.
When it comes time for car repairs, it can be a nervous time, unless you're made of money. A good reason for visiting Helms Auto Sales and Repair. Scott Helms is ASE certified and will give you an estimate before they even start. And if the diagnosis changes, they'll give you a call before proceeding. And if it's time for a new vehicle, Helms keeps a stock of preferred used cars on the lot. Helms Auto Sales and Repair, folks you can trust at 302 West Main, phone 222-AUTO.
Do you have enough coverage? Don't wait to find out that the insurance you purchased online or from an 800 number gave you a discount on the wrong coverage. Talk to your neighborhood independent auto owner's agent today about a policy that fits your needs and budget. Visit today and form a valued relationship that won't let you down in a time of need.
This is your Greensburg Auto Owners Insurance agent, Steve Dorflinger. Stop in at Dorflinger Insurance, 810 East Main Street, or call us at 663-7779.
We'll make stuff up. Hey, we're back with you here from Aspen Place Health Campus. It's the Coaches Show. Hey, let's look at a few of the scores we had in the area last night. Last night, Beech Grove defeated Rushville 67-54. Greenfield Central over Franklin County 50-45. South Ripley topped South Dearborn 56-47. Hauser over Jacksonville 81-52. It was Jennings County over Columbus East 62-49. Shelbyville defeated New Powell 92-79. Indian Creek over Indianapolis Heron 66-45. As we were just talking about, South Decatur in double overtime defeats Waldron last night 110-107. We just talked about that with Brian Dixon, head coach of South Decatur. We also had Kyle Nobby from the North Decatur Chargers here in this morning. And gosh, who does that leave with us here? Got Stacy Meyer, head coach of the Greensburg Pirates. He was idle last week, which means he was doing nothing. He was
just sitting on the couch, just watching basketball all week.
Just watching basketball. So three games the week before, nothing this coming week. So you have to, like I said before, you have to talk to your athletic director and see what you can get done about that. Nonetheless, you also have 3 games remaining on your schedule. And I looked here, two of your we're again speaking with Coach Meyer from Greensburg, but 2 of your remaining 3 opponents played last Thursday against each other. They went into double overtime. Were you at the ball game?
We were, yeah, at South Ripley and Seymour. The game was played at South Ripley. Really good basketball game. And then South Ripley played again last night versus South Dearborn, so we were able to watch South Ripley play twice here this week.
Yeah. What do you know about the Raiders?
They're good. All five of their players and the guys that come in off the bench can shoot. Even their starting center McQueen is he's not a real tall kid, but a pretty pretty stocky kid. He can step out and shoot three. So a ball club that is very, very dangerous because of their shooting ability.
Yeah, and then so you got a couple looks at them. And Seymour, we're back. We used to play them every year, and we haven't played them for a long time. Is that right?
Right, but the last 2 years now we have played them. Got them back on the schedule, obviously. Right. Last year I thought was one of our better games of the year. We beat Seymour at home and thought we did a really good job defensively. And we're going to have another really good effort down at Seymour. And they've got some guards that can play, but they're also big inside. They have a 6'8" kid, a 6'5" kid that both are good players. So we've got our work cut out for us. And Seymour's a team that just runs a multiple defenses. We're going to see a 1-3-1, a box and one, a man-to-man, a 3-2. They're going to throw it all out on the table. So it'll be a real interesting game, and we're going to be facing some defenses that we haven't faced very much this year, in which I'm kind of excited because when we roll around in sectional time, you never know what you're going to see. Somebody may change something up on you, just like a box and one or triangle and two, some of that nature. So, I'm hoping we will see those defenses just so to help us better prepare ourselves for later on down the road.
So switching defenses from Seymour, have you found any pattern that they tend to do this after that situation, or is there no pattern, no rhyme or reason to it?
Kind of no rhyme or reason, and even, we noticed when they were playing Ripley the other night, they may get 2 stops in a row playing 3-2, then the next possession they may be in a 1-3-1. So I think it's just they like mixing up, and it is hard to play against that. It just kind of keeps you off balance, keeps you out of rhythm a little bit. But we've practiced pretty well this week and facing different defenses. We've worked on it, so hopefully there's going to be some carryover.
I know you yourself, especially late in the game after a timeout, you like to come out and at least maybe show a zone or something just to tick the other guy off, I think, sometimes, or certainly disrupt what they had planned in the timeout.
Absolutely, and a lot of teams will do that just because if you call timeout, you're going to draw a play up versus man-to-man, and they come out in zone. So we'll mix it up a little bit as well. Man-to-man is going to be our primary defense, but we will throw a zone out there also.
Well, no games this past week. The previous week, you were very busy with 3 basketball games. That first one was a Monday night game. That was an overtime basketball game against a pretty darn good Indian Creek ball club. Came up on the short end, but a lot of good things came out of the ball game nonetheless.
There was. I thought we competed very well. And in one of those, we kind of controlled the game, if you will. We were leading the majority of the game, and the fourth quarter they come back and kind of goes back and forth. We get it in overtime, and then they kind of dominated the overtime. So give Indian Creek credit. They made plays. They made shots when they had to. Then we came back on Thursday against Rushville, and Rushville's one of those teams, you look at their record, they've won 2 games, and you were at the game. That's not a 2-win ball club.
That's what we were saying the whole time.
They got a point guard that's really good. He's shifty, he's bouncy. They got a big in the middle. And then they've got guys around them that know their role, fulfill their role, and I think they're a basketball team. And I know a basketball team, I think, through the year here, they've kicked a kid off. I know they've had a few things happen, and it just seems like a team that's just getting everything back together right now. And I think it's going to be a tough out in the sectional.
Yeah, our radio counterparts from Rushville after the ball game said, of course, they'd seen all their games this year and said they thought that was their strongest effort of the year. So maybe sometimes the Pirates draw that out of you. I don't know.
Yeah, I think sometimes that does happen. In one where, going back through film, and I didn't think we had our best effort defensively, but yet in saying that, it was good enough. We got stops when we had to. We got scores when we had to. So I think that's where we've grown a little bit. It's not always going to be pretty out there, but you have to find ways to make things happen and to win basketball games. I thought Rushville was a great example of that on Thursday. And, then we come back on Saturday and play Jacksonville at Jacksonville, and kind of the same thing. Their record's not real great. Their big kid was hurt. I think he broke his wrist or fractured his wrist, so they were down their best player. And I thought our kids handled that game the way that I wanted it handled. We started off pressing and grabbed a pretty sizable lead, and that's kind of what we wanted to do. We wanted to seize control of that game early, and we did. And a lot of kids there in the second half were able to play, which was a good thing. So now we've had a big break, and I know Matt Martin's been sick for us. He's had an ear infection and sinus infection, so he's been away last couple of days. But maybe this break we can get people healed up, and if you're going to get sick, this was a good week to get sick. So hopefully we can get everybody going in the right direction here towards the end of the season.
Matt Martin, during the Jacksonville basketball game, we affectionately called him a pest in a very affectionate sort of way, but he was every loose ball, a lot of steals, a lot of disruption. He was just one of those guys you love to have on your team, but boy, you'd hate to play against him.
Absolutely. And, you know, Matt has some great instincts, especially at the defensive end. And I think he's grown as a player, too, because I think last year as a JV player and even some earlier on this season, some of his instincts turn into gambling. And he would take himself out of plays, and all of a sudden we're playing 5-on-4. But I think he's done such a better job of understanding what we want defensively and what's going to make us successful. And I've been very pleased with his play. When you look at his defense, you look at his assists, what he's doing for our team, he's done an outstanding job.
So, again, your two games next week, Tuesday, both on the road, Tuesday at Seymour. And for those that haven't been there, it's been a while since I've been there, but one of the biggest gyms in the state, I think maybe third biggest gym in the state. It's a nice facility right there for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
And then, and of course, at South Ripley, they've got a nice, still fairly new gym around there, and that's kind of a basketball school, isn't it?
It really is. And South Ripley's that school. Good tradition. They're always going to be good.
Always going to be a crowd.
Yes. So, which is great. And the one thing with South Ripley, their girls are in the regional today. If they would win the regional, we would push that game to Wednesday. So we'd play, and I think that's what we did last year. We would push that game to Wednesday, so we would actually play Seymour Tuesday, South Ripley Wednesday. Both of those games being on the road. So we just kind of got to sit tight and see what their girls do. But yeah, if they would get beat, we would remain and play at Ripley on Saturday.
And, you know, in this area, as far as girls, and we've talked about this before, the Greensburg girls, an outstanding season. East Central girls, obviously the Rushville girls, Jacksonville, South Ripley girls, outstanding girl. We didn't have a chance, I don't think, to play them this year, but outstanding team.
They have, you know, Southeastern Indiana basketball, and I was talking to some people. If you look at the Sagarin ratings for South Ripley girls and Jacksonville girls, they're both ranked number one. One of them obviously in Class 1A, the other in Class 2A. We played both those teams, and like you said, East Central, Rushville, there's some really, really good girls basketball this year in Southeastern Indiana. And you look at those teams, South Ripley next year has everybody back. Jacksonville, I know they graduate a few, but they got a lot of kids back too, and we do. And so in Batesville, I mean, all of our conference itself is going to be so competitive, and the majority of those conference teams are sectional opponents, so it'll be a real exciting season next year in girls basketball.
Yeah, you know, Jacksonville, last year's state championship in single A in girls, Scott Smith, the coach, they're 22-4 in regional play today, number one team in the state. So he's in a situation where trying to repeat as state champs, and you've been in that situation before where you'd won a state championship and a favorite to perhaps pursue and win that second state championship. So Scott Smith, the coach of Jacksonville, my question is he feeling any pressure to deliver the goods to his community?
You know, I think a couple things. I think like they won the state last year, so this year's season, you know, the target's really on your back.
Yeah.
And I know they've dropped a few games, but I don't know if people understand Jacksonville's girls got everyone's best games. We talked about, you know, people shooting well against you and playing a little bit better than what they really are. Well, they got that this year. And you know, I don't think there's any added pressure this year because you have won it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's such a joy and such an excitement.
But there's expectations there.
You're right.
You're bringing them back. You're number one.
Right.
Did you feel the pressure? You had to feel the pressure.
You know, I honestly, I didn't. It's out there. You said, I think when we won it the second year, we were number one, probably majority of the year. But we always had a setback or something happen to kind of put us in our place. Madison beat us in the regular season that year, which automatically refocuses you. And a lot of that pressure is probably from the outside of people talking about it. But, Scott's got mature kids that have kind of been through that. They know how to handle it. And the hardest, it's hard to repeat, obviously, but, that first year that you win it, it is, going down to Washington, spending the night, that's a whole new thing for kids. And I think part of that, when McIntosh and that group, when they were sophomores, we were undefeated in the regular season and got beat in the regional. I think that was part of it. They'd never been through that. And, were we talented? Yeah, we had a talented team. But until you go through it and understand what it takes to get through a regional in 2 games, it's tough.
You, of course, had your state championship years, 2013-14. You alluded to that the year before that, the 2011-12 season. Your Greensburg Pirates, the only unbeaten regular season team in the state in all divisions like that. You've always valued sectional championships and conference championships. You've never given much ballyhoo to unbeaten. Never hardly even mentioned it. Like that didn't mean much to you. I mean, I know you had to be proud of it, but you never put much stock in that.
And and I don't know if you remember, John, we had Greg Dugan and Adam Wilson and Burcham with that group. We started the season 15-0 or 16-0, and I think Rushville ended up beating us. And it is one of those things that is special. That's very, very difficult to do, to come out every single night and to win, because you're going to win some games probably you shouldn't win, and the games you should win, you barely win. No one gets hurt, no one gets sick at the wrong time. So it is a big deal. And I think what's overshadowed that going undefeated in the regular season is winning 2 states. If we wouldn't have won 2 states, then we'd have been talking about going undefeated. But I'm very proud of our kids for that season.
Sure.
It was almost like a letdown when you got beaten a regional, because you're not used to losing, didn't lose all season. So I also think that's what led us to win 2 state championships, going through a setback, if you will, or getting beat like that. So a lot of it gets factored into going undefeated in the regular season.
Yeah, your former point guard from that team. In fact, you've got 3 players now playing Division I that recently played for you, playing Division I basketball. Bryant McIntosh plays for Chris Collins there at Northwestern. They're on the brink of perhaps doing something very special that's never been done there before.
They are. And, this week, was it Tuesday? Bryant, Sean, and Ryan all played on the same day and on TV. Sean played Akron, and they got beat on a buzzer beater, and Akron's leading their conference, and Ball State played a great game. Sean did an outstanding job, got beat on a buzzer beater. And then right after that game, Bryant played Illinois, got beat at home, which was a little upset, I think, if you will. And then Ryan won. After that game, his game, I think, started at 11 o'clock, and they beat San Diego State, which is the first time they had beat them, maybe in program's history. So we had a chance to watch all 3 of those guys playing the same night, which was special.
Yeah, that's a pretty neat thing right there. So, but again, Northwestern might be their first NCAA bid ever.
Good, and that's the thing with them. You look at their schedule. I mean, obviously they're in the Big Ten. There's no easy game.
No.
So I think they've got 18 wins right now, 18 or 19 maybe.
I've got them at 18-6. They're 7-4 in the conference.
In the conference, yep. Which puts them maybe 3rd or 4th place. I can't remember. I haven't gone through the rankings, but if they can get near the top of the Big Ten, they stand a very good chance of getting in. But like I said, they got a lot of basketball against a lot of quality opponents left.
They do. So nothing's assured for
No.
sure. Nonetheless, like you say, they're in the Big Ten, so they're all their games are tough games, but now they're the tough game also.
You're right. And, the Big Ten's been so crazy. Penn State just knocked off Maryland. They're all good teams. So it's going to be an interesting, not only end of the conference season, but a conference tournament is going to be really interesting too.
All right. Well, back to yourself. After your 2 road games, you conclude the regular season on February 24th. That's 2 weeks from 2 weeks from Friday. East Central at home. It was a team that you played early in the season. East Central won big early in December. Your team's been through a lot since then, had a lot of growth since then. Obviously, East Central would have too, but that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
It will, and it'll be at home. Obviously, be senior night, and I think our kids are looking forward to that game because of how bad East Central beat us at their place earlier in the year. And we're still in contention for conference. We have one loss. Connersville's undefeated, but I believe Connersville has 2 conference games left, Franklin County and Lawrenceburg.
Yeah.
East Central played Connersville a great game just the other night on maybe Thursday or last. I can't remember now. Days are running together, but had a really good game, good close game. So
you had to be rooting for East Central.
Had to a little bit. You had to a little bit. So, but that game against East Central, last regular season game, will be a conference game, so a very important game. And who knows? We could possibly still get a share of the conference.
Good measuring stick, like you say. You were able to turn the tables on Batesville, split those games. East Central, Coach Disbro, we're obviously talent for every club's up and down from one year to the next, but always, and it was seemed especially this year, is teams plays very tight defensively.
Mm-hmm.
They're just really in your face defensively and really make you work. They put pressure on the ball, put pressure on the guards, and I think he's always a tough out.
He really is, and every program is different, every coach is different. Some coaches are going to say, here's our man-to-man defense, and here's how we run it, and it doesn't matter who we're playing, this is what we're doing. I think Coach Disbro does a really good job of taking away things that you do well. And whether that be individuals where they're going to deny this kid, play off this kid. He's always mixing things up, and like you said, a very tough opponent to play against. And I think almost in reverse, Kerry Brown is a very good defensive coach for Connersville, but he's not going to change anything. This is their defense.
Yeah.
Here's what they do, and they do it so well it's hard to score against. So that part's really intrigues me of how different coaches and different programs go about their business, and that's a fun part about playing against it.
Yeah, and Connersville, 19-1 now.
Yes.
And only a few weeks ago, for the first time, broached not that it made into the polls, into the 4A polls, but I don't know. I guess if you're not in the Indianapolis metro area, it's a little harder to get recognition. But they couldn't ignore them anymore. They had to rank them. So
they couldn't, and this probably hurts Connersville playing in our conference, where a lot of 3A schools. But you know what? It is what it is. When you're good, and they are good, and very deserving of that.
All right, Stacy Meyer is the head coach of the Greensburg Pirates. Idle this week, so a couple games coming up this coming week. Coach, some final thoughts?
Nope, should be great, and we've been able to catch up on a little scouting, and this week I think it's been good for us that we can really kind of focus on ourselves. You get so caught up in the scouting part of it and preparing for the next opponent. We've actually been able to work on a lot of our own stuff, which I've been very pleased with. So looking forward, though, to get back to playing on Tuesday down at Seymour. Like you said, it's a great gym, and hopefully we can get a lot of people out there.
All right, that's Stacy Meyer. He's the head man at the Greensburg Pirates. We're at the Coaches Show at Aspen Place. We'll leave you for a couple minutes. We'll return right after this.
This is Alex from True Blue Autos. We are owned by Any King Auto Body and have a new way of buying a used car. We are operated daily by third-generation family members. Our mission and focus is to provide safe, reliable vehicles that give our customers the best value for their investment. Each vehicle on our lot goes through a 125-point inspection, and all of our certified pre-owned vehicles come with at least a 90-day limited warranty. Come to True Blue Autos, located right next to Any King Auto Body, and see what our family can do for you.
The new year is here and couldn't come at a better time to buy a new Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram from Acra in Greensburg. The Start Something New event is going on now, and the savings are better than ever. Right now, they have new 2016 Ram Crew Cab Express in red pearl. That's 20% off MSRP. The Ram Express is nicely equipped and won't last long. Also, during the Start Something New event, all remaining 2016 Chrysler 200s and Dodge Darts are 15% off MSRP. Last but not least, the new 2017 models are here, and the savings are incredible on them as well. Right now, all new 2017 Jeep Cherokee Limited have over $4,000 in incentives. And new 2017 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs are over $7,500 off MSRP. Get 2017 started off with a bang during the Something New event at Acre Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram. Stop in and see Marty Garwood, Ron Gardner, Rick Jones, Floyd Riggs, Ryan Scudder, Kevin Milburn, Janice Jones, or Josh Camplain at 1407 North Lincoln in Greensburg.
Recycling comes to your town. Decatur County Solid Waste Management District offers mobile recycling the first 2 Saturdays of each month. The first Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., Clarksburg, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Sandusky, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., Adams, 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., Bernie. The second Saturday of each month, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., St. Morris, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., New Point, 11 a.m. to 12 noon, Millhausen. Questions? Call our office at 812-663-0960.
Stone's Farm Service at 921 East Main in Greensburg is southeastern Indiana's Kubota dealer. Stop by and check out their great lineup of Kubota tractors and utility vehicles. These hard-working tractors and four-wheel utility vehicles come with gas or diesel engines. Stone's Farm Service, serving Decatur and surrounding counties for over 20 years. Give them a visit, 921 East Main in Greensburg, or phone 663-3787.
And we return here to the Coaches Show at Aspen Place Health Campus. Let's see, our official donut this morning, Cornerstone Bakery. Coaches got into them pretty good today, Tom. There's a couple left there for you right here. We've got Tom Fleming with us this morning on Periscope. So if you want to see what we look like on a Saturday morning before we shaved, you can do that also. And last night we've had discussion here, by the way, from Kyle Nobby from North Decatur Chargers, Brian Dixon from South Decatur, Stacy Meyer from the Greensburg Pirates. Hey, let's review at least some of the scores from last night. Beech Grove defeated Rushville 67-54. Greenfield Central over Franklin County 50-45. South Ripley over South Dearborn 56-47. Hauser defeated Jacksonville 81-52. Jennings County topped Columbus East 62-49. Shelbyville defeated New Palestine 92-79. Indian Creek over Indianapolis Heron 66-45. It was South Decatur. You want to say the score, Tom?
Double overtime, 110-107.
And you were there, weren't you?
I absolutely was.
That was a basketball game. And tonight, by the way, both Greensburg and South Decatur idle tonight. Knightstown will be at North Decatur tonight. So if you've got a chance, go pick up that basketball game. Girls are in regional play today in 4A. In the Bedford North Lawrence Regional, Columbus North will face off against Evansville Central in that regional in the first round. In 3A action in the Charlestown Regional, Rushville still in action. They'll go up against number 1 North Harrison. That'll be a good basketball game. And the winner of that basketball game will face either Evansville Memorial or Vincennes Lincoln in the championship tonight. In the 2A regionals in Speedway, Eastern Hancock will face off against South Putnam, and also in the Paoli regional, South Ripley having a great year, and they'll face off against Forest Park in that one. In single A action, of course, Jacksonville, a chance to try to get back-to-back championships. They were last year's state champion, and today at Southwestern Shelby Regional, they'll face off this morning against Bloomfield, and the Jacksonville Bloomfield winner will face either Indianapolis Tindley or Indianapolis Lutheran tonight in the championship. So that's girls regional action. So I'd like to wish all of them good luck right there. Tom Fleming, you were at that ball game last night, but you enjoy a ball game.
Oh, absolutely.
I enjoy a ball game, but that was a ball game to enjoy.
You know, it's one of those things, and I talked to Coach Dixon about it before the game, and I got to talk to a couple of the players, Matt Cornett and Hunter Seegers, after the game. And to a person, they say, if this game had been played 2 years ago or even early in the season last year, they would have folded. There's no way they would have been able to accomplish what they did. And, I mean, when you've got Johnson for Waldron last night, 26 points in the first half, and then fouled out early in the fourth quarter with 31, and then Branham was just shooting out of his mind. As Coach said, 27 or 28 out of 31 in fourth quarter and overtime at the free throw line. And that kid never came out.
59 points?
57 is what I had him at, 57.
And they had another player with
31.
31. Well.
Yeah, but I mean, it really says something about the kids from South Decatur that they were able to continue to work.
They had no business winning that ball game.
Probably not.
They were down 16 points in the third quarter.
Yep.
They were still down 2 with 0.3 seconds left in regulation. They were down 5 points with just a little over a minute left in the second overtime.
Yep.
They had no business winning that ball game.
Yeah, it just, as Coach said, you had them in the huddle when they were down by 2 in regulation, called the play. Matt Cornett just executed it perfectly. Jacob Watts with a good pass inbounds. Some nights it just falls your way, and last night South Decatur wouldn't go away, resilient, and came out of it with just an incredible win. As I said, the wallpaper on my phone now is the scoreboard with the final score on it. So
yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're late in the game. I'm thinking, South's going to score 100 points and lose this lane basketball game, but they sure didn't.
I didn't even know I didn't even know the scoreboard went over 100. I thought we were going to see like 0-2 to 0-2.
Yeah.
But it does go over 100. So just such a great thing for that program. I've been around them. I guess this is my 5th year now, and the growth that they've had. Not to speak poorly of Coach Dixon's predecessor, but the bottom line is Coach Dixon walked into a bad situation with good kids.
Yeah.
And it's taken some time to get them to see what they're capable of doing. And like you said, I mean, if you just looked at the numbers, if somebody told you about specific situations, you'd say there's no way they could have or should have won that game. But they managed to pull it off, and that's one for the ages. It's one of those probably several hundred people in the gym last night. But if you ask around in about a year, there'll be about 5,000 that say they were there that night.
Sure, yeah. Just like, who was it when Wilt Chamberlain scored his 100 points?
Right.
There's about 30,000 people claimed they were at that game, and there was only 8,000 there or something. So anyway, but good. You know what? You got to like basketball.
Oh,
What
yeah.
a great sport.
Oh, yeah.
What a great sport.
Well, and we're all of us are so fortunate that WTRE gives us the opportunity to broadcast these games. You and Gary, Randy and I with South Decatur, and Jeff and Adrian, and their cast of other people sometimes. Michelle, who takes care of all the Periscope stuff for them. We're all just really blessed to have the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, you know what we're doing? We're having fun.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what we're doing.
Yep. Yeah, and we had, right now, with people that have watched the replay, we've got about 700 people that watched on Periscope, saw situations where we could see the messages from people saying they don't even know how they came across the game on Periscope, but they did, and they were glad that they did. And people that were calling each other, texting each other, tune in. For people that aren't familiar with it, if you can't be at the game, Periscope is a great way that you can see the game. I know we've got Bill and Judy Seegers. They go to Florida for the winter, and their grandson plays Hunter. And they have a big screen smart TV, and they actually watch the game on Periscope on their big screen. So you can take it with you anywhere. And of course, if you're in the local area, tune in to Tree Country 1330 WTRE FM 104.3, WTREcommunity.com, on South Decatur WTRE Sports SD on Periscope and Twitter, North Decatur's WTRE Sports ND. Some games that are on for Greensburg are on WTRE Sports GB, as the coaches show is every Saturday morning. So if you are interested in high school basketball, particularly in Decatur County, break out your radio, your smartphone, your smart TV, your tablet, all of that stuff, and you can keep up. When there's a night that all three teams are playing, you can take care of listening or watching every game at the same time.
Yeah, isn't that fun? We got 2 weeks left, Tom.
Yeah.
2 weeks in the regular season. Now, North plays tonight, but after their game against Knightstown, North, South, and Greensburg all have 3 games remaining in a 2-week period, and then we're into sectional play.
Yeah.
Sectional draw will be a week from tomorrow.
Right.
So we'll have that for you on the Monday morning sports report a week from Monday, and then we're into sectional play. And who knows who can make an extension into the tournament right there. Well, this is the Coaches Show. We're broadcasting from Aspen Place Health Campus. What a great host they are. I'd like to appreciate that. Cornerstone Bakery Donuts. Looks like our box, we came in with a lot of donuts. And
yeah, I think we
not
took a pretty good amount out of them.
Took a pretty good hit on it tonight. But you know what? That's pretty good stuff. So,
yeah.
All right, final thoughts from you, Tom Fleming?
As we get close to the end of the season, it's really important for these kids. Come out, fill the gym up. Had a really good crowd at South Decatur last night, and when you have that, you have a close game. It makes a big difference for the players. But get out to Greensburg, get out to North Decatur, get out to South Decatur. Support these kids, support your school, and just have a lot of fun out there. We have good teams, we have great coaches, so give them the support that they deserve for all the hard work that they put in.
And you'll get your money's worth.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it was like 2 games for the price of 1 at South Decatur last night.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it. That's the Coaches Show. We are enjoying our basketball. Got a couple weeks left. We'll take a break from this, and we'll join you next week when we play basketball. It's the Coaches Show from Aspen Place.